I felt that you could have costumed up some talented performance actors and, put them in front of a green screen to make it look like they came from a stop motion tabletop set. Uh, so I have to ask you, what did you find were maybe some of those unique challenges, and alternatively, perhaps some of the advantages that you found in infusing stop motion methods into your live action film the way that you ultimately did it?
Well, I think if you're going to make a film called Stop Motion and it's about a stop motion animator, it's just cheating. The cheat, you don't want to cheat the stop motion stuff. I mean, there's no CGI in the film; it's all stop motion animation. And but stop motion, even if you're not mixing stop motion animation with live action together in the same frame, as we did sometimes, it's still challenging, just because it takes so long and it's such intricate work. You are moving the character a tiny little bit frame by frame, and then 20 every 24 little movements you have 1 second to film, so it's a very different rhythm to making a live action film. So having parallel shoots going on, which is kind of how we did some aspects of the film, whenever there's animation stuff interacting with live action, we were kind of shooting that stuff at the same time. So that's a very different rhythm. That's quite challenging. We would shoot the live action scene, and then we had a replica scene that was an animation set where the animators would then animate the character, and those two shots were then sort of composited together. So there's a lot of very boring technical working out and light matching and stuff that you have to do in order to make those shots come off. So they were very carefully storyboarded. They're just technically challenging,
And considering the added time, of course, that it does take to pull off the stop motion aspects of it, I could imagine that would be enough to make any producer maybe a little bit nervous as well. Did you find that challenging to sort of get it all in the can, so to speak, actually within budget? I would imagine there was a ton of preparation to convince producers that it wasn't going to take you 30 years to make this film.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of, the sort of the unique selling point, if you like, of the film is that it is about stop motion and it mixes stop motion animation with live action. It's actually what the producers were attracted to. So that wasn't a problem. I think there were just logistical things we have to work out with just the reality of getting the film made on time, where we have to figure out, how to, I mean, it's exactly what you say. It's just an awful lot of planning, very meticulous planning to make sure everything was executed, on time. But there were two phases as well to the animation. There was the stuff where where there's animation characters interacting with live action. That was a separate thing. And then there's like the film within the film. So there's the stuff where whenever we see, the characters looking at something that's on a laptop screen, that was like a separate shoot. That's just pure stop motion. So I did those scenes myself after the main shoot while we were editing. And then we could drop those into the edit as we were doing them. So it's sort of, there was two phases to the stop motion shoot.
Yeah, and it's when I watched the film too, it might be a bit of a crass reference, but I couldn't help but think in many ways this is almost, as far as the infusion aspects of the film goes, it was kind of like a Roger Rabbit from hell, where they had both working seamlessly side by side with each other. So it was almost hard to...
I love that. Roger Rabbit from hell. That's a good... we should have put that on the poster.